I am not Satoshi. I can literally bankrupt every single person in the country if I control the government and the central bank. Warren doesn't understand Bitcoin. The answer was Bitcoin. In every generation, if you want to be successful, you have to master the platform, which is commercializing at the time you're coming of age. That's my advice I would give to anybody starting their career. I would say early in my life, my best contribution was the creation of MicroStrategy's business intelligence, relational analytics, and the foundation of the MicroStrategy product line, which launched our company, took us public, and got us to where we are today, where we do business in 27 countries with thousands and thousands of corporations and provide them with this mission-critical intelligence. So that was my first professional activity, and I think my hopefully what I'll be remembered for is my second contribution, which is introducing Bitcoin to the corporate world and to the institutions, and introducing the power of a decentralized digital monetary network, Bitcoin, to the world. And we want to show people how they can embrace and support and benefit from it in an ethically responsible, economically responsible fashion. I am not Satoshi. Satoshi, gave a gift to humanity without expecting anything in return. And it's an extraordinarily ethical gift and humanitarian example that Satoshi set, right? And so very impressive achievement. I am not Satoshi. As institutions and organizations get bigger and more powerful, power is centralizing at the top of them. So now you have organizations that control what 1 billion people can say every day. And you have organizations that can change the value of 8 billion people's money. And you have organizations that can distort, how billions of people think. In a world where everything was decentralized, no one person could determine what everybody else was thinking at the same time. I think that was a safer world. I think it's an existential threat for the people that run, certain government agencies and networks to be able to control what you can think, what you can say, what you can know. And I think that Bitcoin and its promise can help us reverse that trend. I think we can reverse the centralization and we can decentralize. I can literally bankrupt every single person in the country if I control the government and the central bank. Like I can impoverish everybody, right? So shifting the control of that into the hands of the people, if they were using Bitcoin, the person that ran a country couldn't impoverish everybody on a whim. AI is a bit of a threat in a way that if an AI can reproduce our interview and take a picture of me and have me say whatever it wants in my voice, right, in a way imperceptible, then it's possible to counterfeit any message and counterfeit any document. And so I think it's more important than ever that we master strong encryption and digital signatures. We're going to need, at some point, we need for me to be able to digitally sign this interview so that I can prove that I'm the one that spoke to you and said these things. When we get to a point where an AI can generate 1 million of these interviews and they can have me saying anything they want, they can have me talking about food and politics and, and my childhood and whatever, which one is the real interview? If you go on Twitter, an AI could spin up 100 million Twitter accounts that would actually be more articulate than 100 million real people on Twitter. That's a disturbing thing, right? We can no longer rely upon information freely flowing unverified. We need to see a world, for example, where there's an orange check, like where I need a passport, a cyber passport. If I can prove that I'm me by doing a transaction on the Bitcoin base layer, and then I have the private key, and then I digitally sign that transaction, and then I digitally sign my account on Twitter, and I digitally sign my account on WhatsApp and Telegram and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Office 365. and then I digitally sign the documents I write, the messages I deliver, the transactions I agree to. In that world, I could at least stop 100 million fake Michael Saylors from confusing and phishing and scamming and distorting reality. Because you know what? The AI version of me is actually going to be a lot more productive and more interesting than the real version of me sometime in the next few years. I think we're at that moment, that inflection moment, the first 12 months. I think the next 10 years is a sprint. And there's going to be this massive Cambrian explosion of ideas, and people are going to push the envelope. I don't think you can stop it. I mean, I think people will try to regulate it. It's not going to work to regulate it because there's going to be some country or some corporation that's going to have an economic or a political interest in pushing this. It's going to develop fast. It's going to be very scary. It's going to be very disruptive. It's going to turn everything you thought you knew upside down. And I have faith that humanity will find a way through. I'm not quite, I don't think you can ignore it any more than you can ignore air power, machine guns, or nuclear weapons. I don't think you can ignore it. But I don't think anybody really understands the profoundly disruptive revolutionary implications yet. The only mistake would be not to be paying attention. You should be investing time and energy. If you can figure that out 36 months or 24 months before anybody else, right, then that makes all the difference. In banking, it's just too slow, too expensive, too elitist. If I wanted to move 40 times on a banking network, it takes 6 years, and all of the money goes to the bank when you're done, right? That's just how expensive and cumbersome it is. I think the system's broken. I think the solution is digital education. I see a world of high velocity talent and high velocity trading and high velocity technology pursuing all of the greatest challenges the human race faces with extraordinary intensity and extraordinary effectiveness. I think it's a good thing for the world, a good thing for everybody involved. And, it's better for economic well-being as well as for political well-being for all of us to be able to work with each other. At least you have the opportunity today, and I could certainly show you 1 billion people that didn't have an opportunity. Warren Buffett gets asked a question by a 13-year-old this weekend. She says, Mr. Buffett, been coming to your conference for 5 years. I see we're de-dollarizing. The US dollar is collapsing. We're printing trillions of dollars. What advice do you have for me and my family and any corporation? And what are you doing? And Warren Buffett hems and haws and doesn't have an answer, and eventually ends with, it'll be interesting to watch, but I guess somebody in the US hopefully will figure it out. That's what Warren Buffett says. He basically says, I don't know. Okay. That was before Bitcoin. Warren doesn't understand Bitcoin. The answer was Bitcoin. You can escape the scourge of hyperinflation, poverty, and destitution with Bitcoin. If Warren understood technology, he would have given that girl the answer. And that's what I would say to you too. It's like, yeah, people 50 years ago rose from their circumstances. I got a better way. Take this computer, log into, the internet or YouTube or Saylor Academy and learn everything you need to do. Apply for a job, lift yourself up because of your intellect, and you don't have to risk your person in an illegal border crossing. In every generation, if you want to be successful, you have to master the platform, which is commercializing at the time you're coming of age. Always think about what's the breaking thing. And right now, if I was starting my career, I would be studying crypto and crypto asset networks and crypto theory, especially Bitcoin, Lightning, and Bitcoin applications. That's one area because there's going to be 100x improvement advances there. There's extraordinary opportunity in that ecosystem. I would also be studying AI. I'd be studying Unreal Engine. I mean, they've figured out how to create an entire virtual universe, and we're right at the cusp where the world of the Unreal Engine 5.1 or something looks almost like a real world. If it's not, they're about to tip over Chat GPT. And even more importantly, I'd be studying the API. And ultimately, there are profound breakthroughs to be made on these new platforms. I don't think, my advice is, you don't study the platforms that made the previous generation successful. Right? Engineers that planned the Apollo space launch, they did their engineering with slide rules. I didn't study it. I use an HP 15C calculator, but don't study that either. Then there came a spreadsheet, and then then there was Python and et cetera, and there was the internet. But don't fight the last war. Don't study the thing. Like even the music. Yeah, I like Mozart and Beethoven, and I like classical music. But if I was a genius today, I wouldn't be trying to duplicate what Beethoven did. You got to figure out what's the new thing, and you engineer the greatest thing you can create with the materials given to you. There'd be no air travel without aluminum. And there always is the engine, the silicon engine, the internal combustion engine, whatever it is. So today, we can see clear the engines of growth are, crypto networks like Bitcoin is an engine, AI tools are an engine. There will be other engines, right? Master those platforms. So if you're constrained by the shackles of the last technology, the last network, the last platform, the last way to do it, you're holding yourself back. The world of possibilities is ahead of us. It's pretty clear that mastering the new technologies and the new platforms to create new things never before possible, right, is the way forward. That's my advice I would give to anybody starting their career.